What if you could reach the end of your life and have no regrets? Not because everything was perfect, but because you lived with courage, clarity, and peace. In this video, we'll explore how Carl Jung's wisdom, Stoic philosophy, and the power of mindfulness can guide you toward a life you won't wish you lived differently. Let's begin the journey toward the life you meant to live. Regret is the shadow that follows us when we've strayed from our path. It creeps in after missed opportunities, broken relationships, and the decisions we didn't make. For some, regret becomes a heavy burden, reminding them not just of what they did, but what they failed to become. But what if we could live now in a way that leaves no room for regret later? A regret-free life isn't about perfection. It's about alignment, between who we are, what we value, and how we act. To truly live without regret, we need tools deeper than just self-help slogans. We need a philosophy of living that teaches us to accept the past, face the future, and be radically present. This is where the teachings of Carl Jung, the ancient wisdom of Stoicism, and the discipline of mindfulness come in. Carl Jung challenges us to integrate all aspects of ourselves, including our flaws. Stoicism trains us to distinguish between what we can and cannot control. And mindfulness roots us in the now, the only place where change, and peace, are truly possible. This video will walk you through these perspectives, step by step, to help you craft a mindset and lifestyle rooted in clarity, courage, and peace. Whether you're haunted by past decisions or afraid of making the wrong ones, what you're about to learn can reshape how you live. Let's begin by confronting the core challenge: why is living without regret so difficult in the first place? Regret often feels like a punishment, but it's actually a teacher. One that reveals our unmet desires, unresolved emotions, and forgotten values. So why do we struggle so much with regret? There are three major culprits: fear of failure, indecision, and clinging to the past. First, fear of failure. We hesitate to act boldly or speak truthfully because we fear what others will think, or worse, what we'll think of ourselves if we fall short. So we play it safe, only to regret not trying at all. Second, indecision. In a world filled with options and information overload, many become paralyzed. We delay choices, hoping clarity will magically appear. But in the end, not choosing is still a choice, and often one we regret most. Third, we carry the weight of past mistakes. We replay them endlessly, as if punishing ourselves will somehow redeem us. But dwelling on the past traps us in a loop of shame and prevents us from growing forward. Living without regret isn't about avoiding mistakes. It's about how we respond to them. Mistakes, when seen through the right lens, aren't scars, they're signposts. They point us toward a better understanding of ourselves. This is where ancient and modern philosophies help. Carl Jung teaches us that self-acceptance starts by looking at our shadow. Stoics tell us not to fear failure but to focus on virtue. And mindfulness helps us stop ruminating and start living. To move past regret, we must first understand it. But understanding is only the beginning. Now, let's turn to Carl Jung's teachings, and what it really means to accept yourself fully. Carl Jung believed that to live a full life, we must make peace with our shadow, the parts of ourselves we deny, hide, or reject. These might be desires we were told were wrong, emotions we were shamed for feeling, or dreams we buried because they seemed too risky. Jung didn't believe we could be free by ignoring our flaws. Instead, he taught that freedom comes from integration, welcoming all parts of ourselves into awareness. Living without regret means facing your whole self, not just the version you show others, but the one that's afraid, flawed, and yearning to be seen. The more we repress our shadow, the more it controls us from the background. Regret often stems from the actions we didn't take because we were afraid of confronting that hidden self. Here's the key. Regret doesn't come from being too much of yourself. It comes from not being enough of who you truly are. Jung's work urges us to listen to our dreams, reflect on our projections, and pay attention to the emotions we usually push aside. These are not signs of weakness, they're the whispers of the self trying to be whole. By embracing your shadow, you dissolve the shame that fuels regret. You stop pretending to be someone you're not. And that authenticity, though sometimes painful, is the only real path to peace. Jung wrote, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. But to live with no regrets, awareness alone isn't enough. We must also act, wisely and with discipline." That's where the Stoics come in. The Stoics, especially Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca, left us with a powerful insight: some things are within our control. Others are not. Much of our regret comes from focusing on the wrong side of that equation. We agonize over things we can't change: what others think, what happened in the past, the outcome of our choices. But the Stoics teach us that true power lies in our response. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." To live without regret, we must learn to separate action from outcome. You can make a brave choice, and still fail. You can love someone deeply, and still be left. You can act with integrity, and still be misunderstood. But if your intentions and values were clear, you have no reason to regret. Because regret belongs to those who act in fear or not at all, not to those who lived with courage. Stoicism teaches that virtue is the highest good. Not success. Not pleasure. Not approval. This shift in perspective is life-changing. Suddenly, your mistakes become lessons. Your rejections become redirections. Your failures become proof that you tried. When you live by what you control, your character, your effort, your choices, you reclaim your life from the chaos of what you don't. But how do you stay focused in a world of distractions and emotional storms? That's where mindfulness becomes your anchor. Mindfulness is the practice of being fully present, without judgment, without distraction, and without escape. It may sound simple. But in reality, most of us are rarely here. We're either replaying the past, or rehearsing the future. And that's exactly how regret takes root. When we're not present, we act out of habit instead of intention. We say things we don't mean. We chase things we don't need. And we miss what's right in front of us. Mindfulness breaks that cycle. When you're present, you notice your thoughts, your emotions, your choices. You create space between reaction and response. And in that space is your power. Mindfulness doesn't erase mistakes. But it prevents you from compounding them. It stops you from spiraling into shame, guilt, or avoidance. Think of mindfulness as a compass. It helps you align every small moment with your deeper values. And when your moments are aligned, your life becomes aligned too. This is the foundation of a regret-free life, conscious living. You can only forgive yourself for the past if you're present enough to learn from it. You can only make better choices for the future if you're awake now. The breath. The body. The sound around you. These aren't distractions, they're reminders, you're alive. This moment matters. And that brings us to the key insight that binds everything together, the real secret to a life without regrets. So what's the common thread between Jung, Stoicism, and mindfulness? It's this: freedom comes when you embrace your true self and let go of everything beyond your control. Carl Jung tells us, accept the shadow. Embrace your whole self, even the messy parts. The Stoics say, focus only on what's within your power. Let go of the rest. Mindfulness teaches, be here. Be conscious. Be intentional. These are not separate practices. Together, they form a mindset, a new way of living. When you stop pretending, you live authentically. When you stop controlling the uncontrollable, you live peacefully. And when you stop running from the present moment, you live fully. A regret-free life doesn't mean you'll never make mistakes. It means your mistakes won't own you. You'll meet them with clarity, courage, and compassion. It's not about avoiding pain, it's about finding meaning in it. Not about never falling, it's about rising wisely. So ask yourself now, if you were to die tomorrow, what would you wish you had done differently? And more importantly, what can you do today to make sure you won't have to ask that question again? Your life isn't a draft, it's happening now. Don't waste another moment living as someone you're not, chasing things that don't matter, or fearing regrets that haven't even happened. The path is clear. Be honest. Be present. Be brave. To live without regrets, we must live deliberately. Carl Jung showed us the importance of self-acceptance, of becoming whole, not perfect. Stoicism gave us the wisdom to focus on what we can control and to let go of what we can't. Mindfulness reminded us that life only ever happens now. And we must show up for it. These aren't abstract ideas. They are practical tools you can start using today. Every time you choose awareness over autopilot, courage over fear, and truth over illusion, you rewrite your future. You don't need to wait until the end of your life to know if you lived it well. You can know by how you live this day. So reflect deeply. Act wisely. And be kind to yourself. Because regret is not a life sentence, it's a signal. One that invites you to grow, change, and begin again. If this video resonated with you, consider sharing it with someone who needs this reminder. And if you're ready to keep building a life of meaning, subscribe, we'll be exploring even more powerful ideas soon. Thanks for watching. Now go live a life you won't regret.